All right, y'all. What's up?
Well, there goes your social life.
So it's been a while. Life has been lifing, as they say. Work, personal life, healthy living, lifestyle stuff, traveling, all that. So life has been going. And the writing has been there, and the editing and the brainstorming, etc., etc., etc. But with all that in mind, thank you for joining me, 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚𝙢, a writer and author, contemporary fiction, love stories. I think I've moved away from saying romance because it's very much contemporary with some kissing, hugging, loving, and drama all up in there. This video is actually going to be kind of like a year in, not wrap up per se. There is a YouTuber, 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚𝙢, and I've watched a couple of her videos. I've enjoyed her journey from what I've seen, and she posted a video which is essentially a end of the year tag, and we'll be going through those questions and seeing what my heart tells me about these questions. So shout out to you, Lindsay. Phenomenal video, and I'll link her video in the show notes as well. So getting right to it, her first tag question prompt is, how would your MC sum up your writing year? So funny enough, with my story project, Project Yi, I have three main characters, and they are siblings, and they are wonderful. I love them to death. I've fallen in love with them. They're great people. I can't wait to release them to the world. But if we're going to be honest, Sterling, the eldest, would probably kind of cut into me and hold me accountable because my writing has not been what I wanted it to be. 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚, the middle child, would try to probably spare my feelings, but still let me know, hey, you kind of got some missteps there. Let's see about maybe doing a little bit better in the new year. And Aaliyah, the youngest, I think she'd be the same. I think she'd be kind, but would let me know, hey, you did a great job. What do they call it? I don't know the exact term, but when you sandwich in like a compliment and then critique and then the compliment to make me not feel so bad, I feel like, but out of the three, I think Sterling would shoot right from the hip and be like, look, you messed up. You didn't do as much as you said you would. So get it together. So that's how I think my main characters would deal with my writing for 2023. Okay, so the second prompt is your biggest writing accomplishment. I would say finishing that very same project, my Project Yi, Project YI. So not only finishing it, but finishing it and understanding that I need more time. I need more work. I got to cook a little bit longer. That project, I'm happy to be done with it, but I know there's so much I have to do. And instead of me trying to rush and meet this arbitrary deadline that I've made up in my head, because no one's forcing me to release this, no one's forcing me to write this, there's nobody putting pressure on me but me. Finishing it, but understanding that things need to be changed, adjusted, another pass or two has to go through it, and there's other details I may need to add, iron out, fill out, and with this project being around the holiday time, I think that also put a deadline in my mind that was not helping me. So finishing the book, understanding that I'm probably going to have to take a step back and do some more, and also getting past the holiday in real time that's in the book, so I have more time to not feel pressured when I work on this project. So that has been my biggest writing accomplishment so far. And that kind of moves into the third prompt, which is your biggest writing failure. So moving right from that conversation into, well, keeping the conversation going, I think my biggest writing failure for me personally is allowing myself to be pressured. So instead of taking my time and going through and finishing the book and then doing those second, third, fourth, fifth passes, whatever is needed, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself that was unwarranted, because again, nobody's forcing me to do this. Nobody's pushing me out into traffic and saying, write this book or you're done. None of that. So I think my biggest writing failure is that I allowed the stress and the frustration and a timeline to get in the way of the writing itself. So I think as writers, we all go through points where we feel like we're the greatest ever and we're on top of the world. And then a second later, it's like, oh, this is trash and no one wants to read it. Those things are easy to bypass for me. Like, you sit with it for a minute, you understand what's going on, you move forward. But with this, I can say that the pressure got to me and I should have done better. And I will do better in the future. Let's see. So the fourth prompt is a meme that best encapsulates your writing year. Oh, there is this Hercules meme of writing. I'm going to, of course, find it and put it on the screen, but I'll just let it speak for itself and move on. I don't want to linger there. You see it, make your critiques and adjustments accordingly, and we're going to move on. Okay, so the next one is your favorite video you published this year. Now that one, I don't know that I have a favorite. I love them all. They're my babies. I love them equally. I think it may have been the one that was a not so writing vlog, because it wasn't writing. It was, I want to say at that time I had been away from this channel for maybe a couple weeks and then came back a bit stronger, like being hyper focused on getting the writing done and documenting the journey and getting my videos up. And so I think that being like the starting point of like, this is what you're capable of. So I think around that time I started doing community posts as well, and like really zeroing in on video, post, secondary, like I was kind of in my bag, I think. So I'll put the not so writing vlog. I think that was probably my favorite video of the year. Either that or one of the podcasts, but I'll stick with that one. Let's see what else. What a line you wrote this year that you are most proud of. So I don't have a line because in the Project 𝘾𝙤𝙖𝙣, it is in its first draft, and I've written some things that I enjoy. But I think for me, I'm going to flip this prompt to not a line, but a scene. So there is a scene in the bully romance portion of the story, or storyline of the story, that came out of nowhere. So of course I wrote down everything that happened. I had an outline, but for me, and I believe I mentioned this before, with my outlines, this book is the first book that I had an outline start to finish and was done, where all I had to do was go in and write the story. But for me, I am one who is okay with making changes or with going off of the rule book, as long as I can make it make sense. And this particular scene was there, and it was supposed to go a slightly different way. But once I sat down and got to typing, and it just like, and I don't know, writers, let me know if you, or even creatives in general, if this is what you experience as well. But I can be writing and have writer's block and be frustrated, and I can write and do a good job. But there's a certain time when I'm writing and it's like something takes over and I am just in my bag. I'm standing on business. I'm typing till my fingers go numb. Like I am just getting it out. And this was one of those times where I felt like my fingers were not keeping up with my brain. And I was trying to like, get this out, say this, do that. And I'm one who try not to stress about typos and all that other stuff. As long as I know what I'm putting on the page and I can go back and kind of gauge what's what, I don't really care about that. Sometimes I'll find myself going back and kind of editing a bit while I'm writing. But this time, oh, I was. And so the way in which that scene kind of fell together with that particular storyline, I felt good because I knew that from a reader's perspective, even though I know everything that happens, I was like, I don't know if this particular thing can be redeemed in a way. So I'll flip that on this head. It's not a favorite line, but it's a favorite scene. And I like it. I like it a lot. So 7, a writing publishing video making skill that you learned or improved. So if I was to say anything, I don't really see, I don't know, because I'm constantly creating, I'm constantly doing like content. For those of you who don't know, I also have a podcast about representation in comics and related media. I've had that for, at this point, I think 8 years at this point. And so I'm constantly creating for that. And I'm constantly putting videos and podcasts or something. I've done it for years. And so I don't know that there's something that I've improved on. I think in general, I'm happy with the way the channel looks, the thumbnails, the videos, because I feel like practice makes perfect, and just having that background in audio and visual and content creation and curating and all that, and being able to kind of spill over into this leg of my creative space, I don't see there being anything that I necessarily improved on, but I just think doing it so often and so much, there is progression there. And I'll actually flip this on you, the viewer. If there's something that you think maybe improved over the course of 2023, please leave that in the comments. Yeah, let's do that. So if you think there's something that has improved on or gotten better, or you've enjoyed a bit more in the latter of the year, let me know. Next prompt is a writing, publishing, video making skill you want to learn or improve next year. Kind of the same, because I'm always learning. I'm always trying to get better at something. So even though it might be kind of a cop-out answer, I just want to say generally I want to improve. I think I'm pretty good with transitions, with honestly, color. I think color grading and all that, that's something that I may want to dig a little deeper and get a little bit better with. I'll say that. Because I think I do a pretty decent job. I think it's good, it's watchable. You're here, you see it. But I would like to get better with the science and the specifics of color, and not just turn this up or turn this down and sharpen this and let it go. I want to do better there. Let's see, what else? What are some channel writing goals for next year? Channel/writing goals for next year. So channel goals, I'd just like to find a way to continue. I am not opposed to any creative or anybody in general taking time off for you and to take care of yourself. I think, and I've mentioned this in prior videos and vlogs before, sometimes it gets to the point where the more time you have off, the harder it is to get back. And then you allow things like life to be lifing, like I said before, and that's something that I want to avoid for 2024. I'm not going to sacrifice mental health and burnout and all that, but I do want to set myself up in a way where I can be consistent and do things a little bit better than I did this year. I just want to improve ever so much on everything, but the consistency is probably it. And what is your main character doing at midnight on New Year's Eve? Interestingly enough, at the time of this recording, and at the space that I am in the story with continuity and all that, my three main characters will be celebrating their birthday. They were born on New Year's Day. They were born from that New Year's Eve. Their mother was in labor well into New Year's Day. So those three triplets will be celebrating their birthday. Now, that's with the caveat that might change in the story. So when the book is actually out, if you reference this video and their birthday is in June, don't get mad at me. So yes, they will be celebrating their birthday, probably at the top of the tallest building in somewhere in Michigan, drinking champagne and toasting to the new year, the possibilities, and all of the friends they made along the way. All right, so thank you guys so much for going along this ride with me for this past year, for following me with my ups and downs, my vlogs, my posts, my ins and outs, and all that good stuff, the podcast, etc. And I do hope that everyone has had a year and had a year. Of course, you had a year. Hope everyone has enjoyed their year and has kind of reflected on things, and take this moment to kind of sit with your thoughts and feelings and see how you may improve next year. Or if you think you're doing just fine, I want you to be consistently just fine next year as well. Again, my name is 𝘾𝙤𝙡𝙚. I am a contemporary author. I am writing these love stories, this drama, these kissing, this hunching, this black folks getting into it and acting crazy and loving each other and all that good stuff. So y'all, until next time, actually, I'll see you next year. I'll see you next year. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and have a phenomenal 2024. Catch me back here and follow my stressful, frustrating, wonderful, excellent writer's journey. And Happy New Year to all a good night. I don't know, whatever. See y'all next year. Bye.
Okay, I'm back, out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene.